Blair Kirkhoff with the Kansas City Star.
How are you, Blair?
I'm doing well. I hope you are.
Good.
Hope you are too.
As good as can be expected.
Well, good. With your pressure style of basketball, do you now recruit to that, or do you recruit as you always did and teach it and drill it when they get there?
Well, obviously we'd like to get people who we think could develop into somebody very good in that, but we're just trying to get the best guys we can get. And we've recruited, I think, the last class and this class, I think we've recruited guys who will end up being pretty good at it. But we've got a couple pretty good players, and it's kind of interesting. I did it at Cincinnati when I first got there. I get to Cincinnati and I start looking at film and I see Louisville and what Coach Crum had down there, and he had like 5 first-round picks. And I'm like, I'm never going to get guys that good. So maybe we can get 15 guys better than their 15. And then I got Danny Fortson, and Danny wasn't real good at pressing, but he could really score the ball. So I'm like, why do I have Danny out there running around fouling people when I ought to have him down there fouling everybody else out? So we quit doing it. And then we've just recently gone back to it. So to answer your question, I have no idea.
Outside right.
Sam Malinger with the Kansas City Star. Bob, you guys are picked second, obviously, in the preseason. I don't know how much attention you pay to this kind of thing, but there's a perception sometimes that the Kansas's dominance in this league has been bad for the league's image over the years. Do you agree with that, and how important is it for somebody else to kind of knock them off?
Well, to answer the first part of your question, all those guys lied. They lied. There isn't one of those guys don't think they're going to beat us. So why would they vote for us second if they think they're going to beat us? So I don't believe them. Kansas dominance is really it comes down to 3 things. They've got a great coach, they've got great players, and they never lose at home. Until we start beating them at home, and we had chances. We had chances, and we missed free throws, and a lot of crazy things happening out in Fieldhouse now, and so we end up losing. And if we had beaten them, I think somebody else would have had a chance to maybe tie for the league championship or whatever. But we got to beat them at home. People have to go into Allen Fieldhouse and win once in a while, because the rest of us all lose at home. And I think if you look at it, that's without a question a difference, and that has a lot to do with the job that Bill does. Bill does a great job, and they have really good players. But I don't know why that would taint anything. You know what I'm saying? Because they've been one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the country for how many years, and it's not going to change. They could be in whatever league you want to put them in. They're still going to be. Don't listen to those people.
Question on the right. Wait just a second, Kevin. Go ahead.
Kevin Haskin, Topeka Capital Journal. Bob, what did you see in Brad Underwood when he coached for you and you hired him, and also how do you think he'll do at Oklahoma State?
Well, I knew Brad for a long, long time. Brad was a young guy and was coaching at Dodge City Community College, and I went out to recruit one of his guys, and we kind of hit it off, and I kind of enjoyed talking to Brad. And so we stayed in touch over the years, over the various places that he had been. And I've got a condo in New Smyrna Beach, and of course Brad was at Daytona, so we got together in I don't know where we were, somewhere around there. I don't know what little town it was, but anyway, so we're sitting talking, and for me to hire Brad was a no-brainer, because Brad was a K-Stater, which was really important. He's a Kansas native, which was really important, and I needed somebody on the staff, to be able to kind of link the past with the present, and certainly he did that. You want me to give you a great Brad Underwood story? So Brad was my ops guy, and so he really couldn't coach. So he somewhere found this old bike now. One of those ones where the deal goes and you're pedaling and it was squeaking and carrying on, and he put it right on the edge of the court, and then he had an elliptical at the other end. So whichever end we were practicing on, Brad was either riding a bike or doing the elliptical. And the compliance people come down and said, "Coach, you can't have Brad on the floor coaching." I said, "He's not on the floor coaching." He said, "Well, no, he's on that bike coaching. I can't help what he says, but he's not coaching. He's not on the floor." He was right off the floor now. But that was Brad's idea of helping. He'd get on that bike and get on that elliptical. And actually, he probably ought to do that now. But I can't talk, Blair.
We got a question in the middle front.
Coach Darren Smith from radio. You have a lot of freshmen coming in. What kind of impact do you think they'll help with the team that's senior laden?
We're going to play a lot of people, so they're going to play. Our two bigs are going to play. We have a 6'10" freshman and a whatever he is, 6'7", 6'8" freshman. They're going to play. I hope that we can get into other people's bench and play and make them play guys that they haven't played a lot, and just a cumulative effect of what we do wears on them. But we did an interesting thing. Jawan Staten played almost 39 minutes a game as a junior, and then we changed style and started playing faster and pressing and all that. And he was playing 28 minutes a game. And I think the people in his circle felt like he wasn't playing enough. And so we went back and charted possessions, and he actually played more possessions playing 28 minutes the way we play now than he did when we were playing another way, and he played 39 minutes a game. So we're going to create a lot of possessions. And that's really what I look at. When we first started doing it, I go in and I looked at the stat sheet, and it said they shot 57%, and I'm like, I can't say what I said. But I'm looking at that but then I look at the number of possessions we had, the number of turnovers, our possessions compared to their possessions, our shots compared to their shots. It's worth it.
One final question here in the middle. Just a second, get it.
I'm just warming up.
Coach, when I was in college, I followed you while you were in Cincinnati. Are you still, in your opinion, able to recruit the type of talent that you got when you were at Cincinnati that you're getting at West Virginia? Do you still believe you're getting the type of same superstar type athletes that you were getting there?
No. It's a different recruiting base. I mean, we're in a state of 1.5 million people. There were 1.8 million people in Cincinnati alone. And Ohio is a state of a whole bunch of cities. So there's going to be a whole lot more players. We've tried to recruit everybody from our state that could play. And we've had 2 guys on our team now. Well, 3 actually. We got a walk-on. A guy walked on, he's 7 foot tall. From Cameron, West Virginia, 300 people. I said, "What are y'all doing, Cameron, for fun?" He said, "Coach, our idea of going to the mall is going to the General Dollar." But Nate Adrian's had a really, really good career for us and is playing terrific right now from right there in Morgantown. And Chase Holler from Wheeling. But other than that, I mean, we don't get guys from our state, which makes it so much harder. And you talk about really a lot of the guys that I had, they were Ohio natives, or they had ties. They had relatives, they had ties in Ohio. Kenny Satterfield's father lived in Toledo. People didn't know that, but he had Ohio ties. But we recruited him out of New York, but he had Ohio ties. So it's just a whole lot different.
We're going to take one more question here on the front. Blair? Just since you're just warming up.
Well, I stood back there for about 45 minutes waiting on you, so I figured, what the hell, if I go a few minutes over, what does it matter, you know?
Okay.
Hey, Bob, how did the state went through that devastating flooding in the summer? How did the state get through that, and what was the role of the university through that?
Well, Blair, it's been hard. I mean, to say anything other than that would be a lie. I mean, they've shut mines down left and right. People are out of work. Southern West Virginia has taken a huge hit. Now, you know, northern West Virginia is doing pretty good, but southern West Virginia's taken a huge hit. And then the flood came, and you know, it's hard. I mean, what do you do? I mean, Milan Pharmaceuticals gave $1 million. $1 million it's $1 million is a lot of money. I mean, we all would agree, I think $1 million is a lot of money, but it's not, it doesn't even touch the devastation that happened. And then you go to a deal, you know, I'm running around trying to think, I'm thinking, okay, you know, we'll build somebody a house. Who do you pick the guy? Who's the person? You know, so you go in a town of 500 people and you build one guy a house and there's 499 people not very happy with you, you know? Why was it him? Why wasn't it me? You know, it's harder to fix than what anybody realizes until you really get involved and really try to help fix it. And it's just the devastation at the Greenbrier. I mean, Jim's going to spend, literally hundreds of millions of dollars to fix that. And we've been hit as hard as any state's maybe ever been hit with, when you combine the loss of jobs because of the mining industry and in the flood. It's hard. I mean, it's just, and the great thing is about the people in the state of West Virginia is they love West Virginia. They just absolutely love West Virginia, and they love West Virginia University. And you know, I had a question about Cincinnati, but you know, we don't have the Bengals, and we don't have the Reds, and we don't have the Indians, and we don't have the Cavaliers or the Browns. We have West Virginia University. And so every kid grows up wearing a hat that says a WV on it, or they wear a shirt, or they wear a pair of pants or whatever that has a WV on it. And whether they go to the university or not, they're West Virginia fans. And so we've had West Virginia fans throughout the country, because if you grow up there, you're a West Virginia fan. You listen to it on the radio, you watch it on TV. I grew up sitting on my grandfather's lap listening to the Mountaineers. So I mean, I understand. I grew up in Doug Hill. You know, it's just a way of life, and they're proud people, but it's hard. I mean, it's been really hard, and we've had so many people forced to leave the state just to find work because of what's happened with the mining industry. So it's I forget what your question was, but did I? I usually do. I'll get around to it, you know. But anyways, I just that's why I try to have our guys understand what they represent. Senator Manchin, way more eloquently than what I can do, said to him one time. He said, you know, once you put that uniform on and you have that West Virginia across your chest and you run out there, you know, people talk about representing your team and your family. He said it's way more than that here. You're representing your team, your family, your university, and the entire state. And that's a hell of a responsibility when you think about it. And I try to just, you know, pound that in our guys' heads all the time, that man, you're representing 1.5 million people. You're just not representing yourself anymore. So that's the neat thing about it. It doesn't happen a lot of places.